episode. This is a microscopic account of what happened since 2003. Microscopic. I mean, these are a handful of people, and it's already too much. Could you imagine knowing the full extent of the war? I mean, it's impossible. It's absolutely impossible. I mean, what they went through is completely devastating. Not just the invasion, but afterwards, what happened? The insurgency, Al-Qaeda, then you had the sectarian violence, the civil war, then you had Daesh, you had ISIS. I mean, it's just never ending. It's never ending. To this day, it's still going on. And it's spilled over into Syria. I mean, I think you guys know this, but in case it isn't obvious, what's happening in Syria is a direct consequence of what is happening in Iraq. Okay? Direct. You can trace that back to 2003. Well, I mean, if you really want to dive deep, which is what we do, you look at U.S. imperialism as a whole. You look at Western imperialism going back 1,000 years to the times of the Crusades. Yes? But nonetheless, when we're talking about Daesh and about the collapse of the Syrian government in the northeastern part of the country, and it reached Damascus at one point, right? We even thought Damascus was going to fall. This is directly traceable to 2003, okay? And it's absolutely gut-wrenching. I mean, I'm still sick in my stomach. It still hurts because I just finished it, and it's really messed up, man. It's completely messed up. I don't even know how to describe this. I can't condense it. You just have to go and watch it. And it's so interesting because I think from the first to the second episode already, you could see U.S. troops treating Iraqis just like you see now on your own streets, which is what I warned you about, what people have been mentioning, albeit not too many, right? So take a look at this. So is this Portland police? No. This is the regular U.S. military brutalizing Iraqis and putting them into unmarked vans. Look, do you see him punching his head in? Do you see that? Look closely. Do you see that? And then, as if by some irony, into unmarked vans as well. It's not even a Humvee or something, or a military vehicle. It's just an unmarked van. Nothing. I mean, what is this? What did this guy do? Like, who are you to come in here and do anything to him? And then, it's so funny listening to these bootlickers, these morons coming in and saying like, oh, well, you can't compare that because, this is a military operation. I don't care what you call it. Get the fuck out. Get out. You have no right. No right. 0. -100 to be on Iraqi soil. Never mind brutalizing this man or any other Iraqi. 0. Fucking 0. I don't want to hear it. We're not having a debate. It's not a discussion. So, I mean, this is nothing. You're gonna see and hear much worse. But nonetheless, it's just, this is a glimpse back from the early 2000s of what you have now on American streets. And what you're seeing now in Portland and in general, this police brutality, I mean, this is a joke. This is microscopic. It's minuscule compared to what Iraqis went through. Minuscule. It's a joke. You could never know what Iraqis went through. You could never understand in your wildest imagination. You would never be able to comprehend because you're not Iraqi. You were not there. You haven't lived under a military occupation. This is a farce compared to what they have to go through. Roadside bombings, helicopters, drones. I mean, it's endless. How long ago is 2003? And before that, in 91, George Bush Sr. invading them. I mean, it's, the Middle East is unstable, not because it's the Middle East, it's because Western powers keep screwing with it and won't leave it alone, right? So it never knows peace. If you don't leave something alone, then of course you can always look at it and say, wow, that thing is unstable. Gee, I wonder why. And the really striking message from this entire series, which we've known all along, what's really striking, and even the CIA analyst is going to tell you this, the New York Times reporter is going to tell you this, the Iraqis themselves are going to tell you this. This was a mistake. The entire war was a mistake. And it's worse because they removed Saddam. You know, the analogy that this CIA analyst gave was excellent. He said that Saddam had his hand on the lid, okay, on this lid. And as soon as the US came and took him away and removed his hand off of the lid, you had all of this crap coming out, this vermin, like Al-Qaeda, like ISIS, like al-Zarqawi. That's what happened. And this is, once again, absolutely mind-boggling to me how you have people on the so-called American left who tell you, not through any of their own thoughts, not through any of their own revelation, but who are aware that, yes, the war in Iraq was a mistake. How generous of you to acknowledge that, as if we needed your validation. But nonetheless, these people on the American left, they acknowledge that the war in Iraq was a mistake and that everything is worse now because of the invasion, because of what the Americans did. And nonetheless, they still want to be involved in Syria. They still want to try this experiment again of the white man coming in, of the Americans coming in, removing a government because they think they know better, and then trying to copy paste American democracy, whatever that means, onto another culture, another land, another peoples. I mean, this is ridiculous. You know, I think it's incredibly cruel and arrogant for you to put an entire country or an entire region through decades and decades and decades of suffering and turmoil and chaos and destruction because you think you know better. Because you think you have some kind of solution. It's not your business. It's none of your business. None. It's really irresponsible, actually, especially for people who have a platform. It's particularly irresponsible because not only are you full of shit, but you're also filling other people's brains full of shit because you're a fucking moron. You don't speak Arabic. You're not from the Middle East. You've never been to the Middle East. You probably never been outside your fucking town. You don't understand Arabic culture. You don't understand the religion. You don't understand the history. You don't know the land. You don't know a fucking thing. You don't know your ass from your elbow. So stay in your fucking lane and leave the Middle East to people from the Middle East. Okay? We got enough issues on our own. We don't need more Westerners meddling in it. So go and watch this documentary and take heed of the message. Take heed of the message.